Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video over on Ark Survival Ascended, and I'm going to show you a super cool trick in this video, how to build floating turret towers. Now, you can see this one right behind me, right? Like you can see that all of those structures are just floating in the air. Just to show you, I can go through it. This is not against terms of service technically because they're being held up by structures that are just technically invisible. So this is a floating turret tower that you can do. Now you can take, I guess for those of you that want to build one of these, they're actually really easy to do. And you just have to know how to flip things horizontally and then change a couple of settings. Now this is doable on official settings, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do it. If you don't mind, smash that like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm, and then consider subbing to the channel. All right. Now this was kind of first brought up to me by some of the people that I play on my server with, and they've kind of been testing out some theories and how to actually make it work. So I've kind of been trying to test different methods, and the best method that I can use to get something that looks like that is pretty simple. So what we're essentially going to do is we're going to place down a foundation. Doesn't matter what type of foundation, and you're going to sink it as low as you can possibly get it to go. Then you're going to go ahead and place down a single wall. You don't technically need a wall, but you can use one if you want to, as long as you can get a set of stairs or a roof or something that's 45 degrees to place down. Now, once you do that, you're going to take this right here, which is your spike walls, and that's the beginning of our process. Now, once we get that, we're going to move into this next thing. We're going to go ahead and enable snapping, make sure that is present, by the way. And then you'll see that we have a 45-degree tiltable snap point. Now you can see right there that I've got it, and technically because it's touching the ground, it's good to go. So we can go ahead and pick up this foundation, and this will stay in place, right? Now, this is the next step. So if you haven't seen my video how to do this, this is kind of a quick tutorial, so check that out if you haven't. But you can actually snap fence foundations to this thing next. So we're going to go ahead and go to the side of it to make a perfectly 45-degree fence foundation there. And once you've placed that, you can pick it up because this is your new foundation. And then after you do that, you're going to place down some walls. It doesn't matter how you place down the walls or what style of walls that you use. You just want to have a couple of walls, specifically 2 placed down. Once you have those 2 walls to place down, you will then move into a ceiling, but you can't place a ceiling until you have a foundation, right? Those 2 walls, however, allow us to snap a foundation into place. So that foundation will snap, and you can see it'll work just like that. And now we can place our ceiling. And once you have the ceiling in place, we're going to go ahead and place another set of stairs. And I know I'm going pretty quick, sorry, but for those of you that are keeping up, you can see that we now have a 90-degree deck roof, which is what we've been going for. And then once we have that, you're going to disable snapping. And then you can see that we can actually place this guy right here. Aim for the top middle, by the way, because that's going to give you the best actual kind of vertical placement of the thing. And it's also going to allow us to actually snap into place. You can see it right here, by the way. So there we go. So we have now snapped in place this right here. Now you can make this look as clean or dirty as you want it to. This one's a little bit at an angle, but I don't care too much just for showing you the point of this video. And because it's touching the ground, it counts as it's good to go. So you can pick up this entire set right now, by the way. So you can see that we've got this entire set picked up, right? So now this right now is safe. Now what you can do is we're going to go ahead and snap. You can see what I've got right here, right? These are fence foundations. You can use that initial snap point, and we're going to go ahead and snap things to it. So you can place 1, you can place 2, you can do whatever you need to do in order to make yourself feel comfortable. But you can see that we have snappable positions now, which is our long-term goal. And once you have those snappable positions, you can keep taking things apart as long as it's touching the ground. But this is completely sideways, right? You cannot snap a foundation to it yet because you need walls and ceilings. However, it is completely sideways, right? So that's our goal in the first place. And as soon as we get that wall in place, we now have the ability to snap into place foundations. But you technically don't need to. You can, but you do not have to, because as soon as we have that wall in place, right, we can now place ceilings. And those ceilings is how we kind of use this strategy super cheeky. Now you can hide this under whatever you wanted to hide under. You do need this piece present, however. And what you're going to do is you're actually going to get a large or behemoth cellar door. Now the behemoth cellar doors can be stacked very, very high up into the sky. You can go as high as you want. I think it's like 8 that it says you can't build any higher technically. There's 8 right there, right? Yeah, so now I can't build any higher, so that disallows me. So you can build 8 behemoth cellar doors into the sky completely sideways just like that. So that brings us to our next point. So these will open and close, right? And they serve as ceilings or giant ceilings, which is super useful, obviously. You're then going to take your walls that you can place. You can see that I can place these on the edge. I don't know why that just opened. I can open these on the edge, and you're going to want to reduce the amount of turret, how do I say this? A blocking space or line of sight. You want to avoid as much line of sight as possible. So you're basically going to use tech double doorways. Now, tech double doorways will snap to every single corner of these behemoth, right? So I can go ahead and place them wherever I want. And as soon as I have those, I now have something that a tech or regular turret of any kind can be placed on top of. You can see that I'm kind of going through this list. You can place as many or as few as you want, by the way. And just to see how far you can place them, it's just like a normal foundation. You can basically place 3 away, and you can build a completely floating structure just like this. And that's pretty useful, obviously. Now, if you wanted to add more foundations to the bottom, you could also use the floating structure in order to, how do I say this properly? You could use this floating structure to build a much bigger overall structure just by going left and right using this bottom side. So in order to make it actually floating, all you have to do is walk near it. Or if you don't want to walk near it all the time, you can go ahead and turn the auto close to never. Now, it is now open, right? So I can't damage this. I can't even see that it exists. And now we have ourselves a floating turret area, right? You can do this for every single one on this list, making this up to 8 total tall, just like you can see that one right there. I'll go ahead and say, hey, you know, we're going to do this, and we're going to say auto close to never. And I don't care about these, but you can see how high you can go. It's kind of crazy, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and pick this one up, picking the rest of the top of the pile. And now we have ourselves a floating turret tower. Yes, and that's very useful, obviously. If someone can't jump up and place C4 on that, they're going to have to rocket it or figure out what they want to do in order to actually attack those turrets, or use a tech rifle. Now, this is still technically connected to my structure. There's nothing wrong with this because there is a wall right here. This isn't just left floating. It's just an invisible ceiling. Look, you can see it right there. So according to everything, this should be 100% usable, and you can do this on official, and then you can stack your turrets however many you want. And the cool thing with the new update is that you can place turrets at different angles. You can even place them upside down, just like this. So you can have a ridiculous number of floating turrets, and they all shoot just fine. As you can see, these over here are functioning. I can go ahead and, you can see that they're just killing things as they come nearby. And yeah, pretty crazy. Now I'll go ahead and spawn in a ridiculous, what do I want to spawn in? Let's go for a, something super tanky, like a level 100 million something. Why not just make something that can't move either? Let's say a wild, does a dodo seem reasonable? Yeah, we'll just make it dodo. Sorry, I'm just typing out the command right now. And we'll go for it that way. So dinos, do I want to do the dodo? I think dodo makes the most sense because it's going to get a little splash damage and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and place it down, and then boom. You can see there's our dodo, and there's our working turret tower, and it just blasted it outside of range. Now, if I was to do it with something that wasn't like that, let's say I put a Rex in there, right? Let's go ahead and put a Rex in. You can see that this Rex is going to sit here, and these turrets have nothing blocking them, so their line of sight is amazing, and they're just going to absolutely slaughter this Rex. Now, and the reason that this is a useful thing, by the way, is because people aren't going to be able to, unless they take out that bottom piece, which is the one way you would actually take out this tower. But you could easily hide that by loading this entire ground up with kind of defensive structures to protect that. But you can see that this thing is just getting mauled by the turrets. So all of these, and you can see, look at the line of sight that has 0 blockage going on here. These turrets are going to basically fire from any angle. So this is the perfect turret tower for that reason, because they can fire if something's directly beneath it. They can fire if something's behind it. They can fire if something's in front of it. It's a super useful turret tower trick. So, and obviously you can see this guy's like, nope, I'm leaving. I want nothing to do with this. So yeah, a floating turret tower is super useful. Now, hopefully this video helped you out. And if you don't mind, smash that like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm, and then consider subbing to the channel. I'll have some simpler tutorials that kind of talk about the actual how to just do 1 or 2 of these things, but this is kind of how you make a floating turret tower in general. So hopefully this video helps you out. And other than that, teach. Out.